Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 5th. I'm Jasmine Anderson. Election day is finally here and the polls are now open and people are lining up. Here's the scene at the polling station at the Mastic Beach Fire Department. More than 500,000 Long Islanders have already cast their ballots during early voting. BOE officials expect another 300 to 350,000 voters to cast their ballots today. At the top of the ballot, the race for the White House. Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris was joined by Oprah and Lady Gaga at a rally in Pennsylvania. And former President Donald Trump made the rounds with stops in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan. Today, the former vice president's election headquarters will be at her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C. And Trump is expected to be at Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
And we know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
With your vote tomorrow, we can fix every single problem our country faces and lead America to new heights of glory.
With 4 congressional races in the air and propositions that include abortion codification, the stakes are high on the island. Virginia Huey has a look at what's on the ballot in a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Every vote counts.
Anthony Quersha of Plainview is among the more than 500,000 Long Islanders who've cast their ballots early for this election. Quersha says there's a lot at stake.
The inflation, the crime, the border, all that, it's really concerning because I got grandkids.
With a presidential election at the top of the ticket and House control up for grabs, New York's congressional races are in the national spotlight. 4 of the races are on Long Island.
2 years ago, it turned out that New York State was the deciding factor in the control of the House of Representatives. And a number of seats were lost in the state, including here on Long Island. So this year, it's an understatement to say that it's the most expensive races maybe in the country. But because control of the House is involved in this one, this is a game changer nationally.
The battle for the 4th congressional district is a rematch between GOP incumbent Anthony D'Esposito and Democratic challenger Laura Gillen. In the 1st congressional district race, Republican incumbent Nick LaLota is trying to hold on to his seat against a challenge by former CNN commentator John Ablon. The race for the 3rd congressional district pits Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi against former state assemblyman Michael LePetri. And 2-term Republican Congressman Andrew Garbarino faces a challenge from attorney Rob Lubin in the 2nd congressional district. Long Islanders are also being asked to vote yes or no on ballot proposals about expanding equal rights protections and improving water quality. Prop 1 seeks to update the state's Equal Rights Amendment. This proposal would protect against unequal treatment based on ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, and sexual identity. And while it's not specifically mentioned, the measure would codify abortion rights in the state.
50 years ago, I marched for a woman's right to choose, and I don't want to go back 50 years.
Proposal 2 is before all voters in Suffolk. They're being asked that they would like to raise sales taxes by 1/8% to help pay for an expansion of wastewater treatment to protect the area's ground and surface waters from nitrogen pollution.
No.
Why not?
Because we already have, the water is already good. How do you make it better if it's already good? If people will stop polluting, we wouldn't have that issue.
Polls open across Long Island from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Election Day.
People should vote with their heart and what they think is best for the country.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Read more about races before you head to the polls and check out Newsday's Voters Guide on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And we will have special live coverage after the polls close with local analysis you won't see anywhere else. It starts at 9 p.m. here on Newsday TV. A Long Island State Troopers shooting on the Southern State Parkway now under investigation for inconsistencies. State police have confirmed Thomas Macia has been suspended without pay, and the search for the alleged car involved in the shooting has been called off. The Nassau DA says the investigation involves inconsistencies in the incident report. Officers were seen searching the 27-year-old's West Hempstead home yesterday.
Something doesn't add up, but it's just sad that somebody like that would do that, the police, because that's who you're supposed to look up to.
Macia claimed he was shot after he allegedly went up to a black Dodge Charger that he thought was stranded on the parkway. He then claims the suspect drove off. Only in Newsday, Harborside Retirement Community is looking for an independent mediator. Residents have asked Governor Hochul to appoint an independent facilitator to restart talks between state regulators and a potential buyer. They claim the Port Washington community is less than 60 days away from potentially shuttering. A cyber attack on a Garden City headquarters plastic surgery practice has exposed over 160,000 people's private information. That's according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The Long Island Plastic Surgical Group was attacked in early January. In a notice, the practice said the breach exposed important information like patients' names, social security numbers, and medical information. Attention Kmart shoppers, Target is moving in. The retailer has signed a lease to take over the Bridgehampton Kmart's former location. No word yet on when the new store will open or the number of people it will employ. Looking for the most flattering fall color? There's an analysis for that. Elisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
It's a method used to determine the palette of colors that best complement your natural features.
People come to me when they want to find out a little bit more about themselves. It is based on a person's coloring, and a lot of it has to do with personality. It's all intertwined.
Shauna Jacobs is a seasonal color analyst.
I am so excited to see what my colors are. So how do we get started? What's the first thing?
I first start by trying to determine what season you are.
I showed up to her Cedarhurst studio certain I was a summer.
You mentioned how you love wearing bright colors, hot pink and reds for work.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned how in your personal life, you tend to go a little bit more on the muted side.
Yes.
Okay. So that, in my head, that's all adding up to lead me to what season you are.
Oh, what season am I?
Not yet.
She sorted through swatches so I could see for myself.
These are very cool, bright colors.
Okay.
In my opinion, I would not recommend these for you. These are more pastel-y.
Okay, which I never wear.
Okay, well, these don't either work for you.
Okay, good.
That's just to show you a little bit of how I narrow down which season you are. Springs are the most out there. A lot of celebrities are springs. Summers are more softer, muted people. Winters, they're able to wear very contrasting clothing. And autumns are much more earthy. There's different categories. Formal neutral, dark neutral, personal neutral, which has to go with your eye, skin tone, blushes, reds, dramatic colors. So we go through each category and get your color that works for you. Can you guess what season you are?
I think I'm autumn, which is like not what I thought I was going to be.
I know, I told you.
I thought I was summer all the way. Okay, there's my palette. Makes sense. Yeah, it's so much better.
It's you.
Yeah, this is like an awakening of sorts. Wow, I'm in autumn.
Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
Definitely an excuse to shop for more fall fashion, Elisa. Thank you. Read more about color analysis on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Newsday has complete coverage and in-depth analysis of the races affecting Long Island, interactive voter's guide to all races in Nassau and Suffolk counties, and regular updates from Newsday TV with live results after the polls close at newsday.com/LIvotes.
Checking out your hyper-local Tuesday forecast. It's partly sunny and warming up this election day. Here's a look at your highs. A mix of sun and clouds today. Highs in the upper 60s, but look at Huntington. Highs in the 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. Warming trend continues. Highs in the 70s. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you for joining us on this election day. Thank you so much for watching.